Hi. There are several ways to tackle vulnerability in an organization. Today, I'm going to talk about three specifically. Well, you can Google how to tackle vulnerability in your organization. You're going to get, thousands of blogs explaining how to tackle, including private organizations that are dedicated to vulnerability management, teaching or saying which one is the best strategy. You can go to Amazon and come up with several books with great authors, certified authors, explaining how to tackle vulnerability management. But I want to talk to three here specifically, very high level, that could guide your program along the way, along the right path. First is you tackle vulnerability according to the criticality, not necessarily the vulnerability criticality, but the criticality impact in your organization. And what I mean is you will patch the crown jewels, your mission critical applications, systems, processes, what have you. And those you will tackle them first, and everything else comes along later on the priority that you may decide in your organization. Second, and often confused as a complete cybersecurity, is cyber hygiene. That means what basically that entails is that you will look around your organization and make sure you patch these vulnerabilities across all assets, all systems, because you want to raise the level of hygiene on your organization. Basically, eliminate as many vulnerabilities that you can. However, that practice has to be understood within its context. You will bring your level. You don't want an older vulnerability, no matter where in your organization, crown jewels or not. You don't want those old vulnerabilities across your organization because that is an entry point for attackers. So you need to bring the hygiene up to standards, if you will. That's what it means. However, companies or organizations, especially small business, confuse that as a vulnerability strategy for the organization as a whole without breaking down criticality to the organization. Because you might be patching systems that are non-important, believing that they are important in the organization. So cyber hygiene, yes, is something that you should address across the organization. So those are the two. Crown jewels first strategy, cyber hygiene, the second strategy. However, that can be run in parallel. Third and last, emergent threats, zero-day exploits, stuff that just happened, hit the news, you need to act on because it was just released, it was just announced, something that needs to be treated immediately. So those are three different strategies that not necessarily can be applicable on its own. It's something that you have to do combine. Regular patching, critical patching, high vulnerability patches. You start with your crown jewels first. Make sure they're protected. Make sure they're up to date. Then from a cyber hygiene perspective, you address the entire organization, including those high vulnerabilities that you just patch on your crown jewels across the organization as part of your cyber hygiene. And then having an emergency program in place, meaning that you understand who are the system owner, the applications owner, because if something happened, an emergent vulnerability comes out, you know who to contact, and start negotiating outage windows and how we're going to patch those along the way. So to recap, crown jewels, cyber hygiene, and emergent vulnerabilities.